During the last 2 weeks, many cryptocurrencies have seen a strong impulse to grow, and we have seen a very strong revival. Many cryptocurrencies have even pumped so far, like BNB, to achieve a new all-time high. Not that I didn't tell you. And then there is PENGU. You all have seen PENGU probably. Also, you might remember it from my video in December when I told you that PENGU is one of these meme coins that has a great potential. However, when we look at the altcoin season index, we see that we are still only at 52. And while 52 technically is on the right side of this altcoin season index scale, it means that there is at least a small impulse towards an altcoin season. When we watch the chart of the altcoin season index over the period of the last months, we see that the altcoin season index has grown substantially basically for the last 2 weeks. However, the number only reached 50 in the last 3 days. So on the 21st of July, we got the highest number in altcoin season index recorded for a long time. It finally reached this 55. But what does that actually mean? Why is it 55? And in the methodology of altcoin season index here on CoinMarketCap, for instance, it will tell you that 55 means 55% of the coins are outperforming Bitcoin. And this is measured by taking the top 100 altcoins relative to Bitcoin. And this is what the value comes from. So if 55 of the top 100 are growing better than Bitcoin in a day, which was on the 21st of July, for instance, then this number will be 55. On other days where it's lower than that, for instance, when we are on this side of the scale, on the left side, less than 25 coins are outgrowing Bitcoin from the top 100. It means that we are definitely in a strong Bitcoin season. And when you look again at this chart, technically speaking, we have not even reached altcoin season by far. There is still a long way to go to have 75% of altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, because this is when we really speak of an altcoin season. And in this video, I will show you why I believe that this will be a massive altcoin season for the history books. Before we get started, thank you all for being here again. Welcome back to my channel, Simple Crypto. I am Alex, your host, and I am a crypto economist from Austria. And on this channel, I'm sharing all my knowledge from more than 8 years in crypto. So you're absolutely at the right place if you love crypto like I do, if you want to discuss with me and you want to learn together more about this fascinating space of cryptocurrencies and the decentralized web. So let's get into it. Well, let's look first at the total 2. The total 2 is the market cap of all cryptocurrencies that TradingView is tracking here combined except Bitcoin. And this market cap is reaching its all-time high very soon. It's getting close to it. We have 1.5 trillion now, and it's getting closer and closer to these peaks here. So I believe it will be the time to be in the altcoin market when we really cross this all-time high and we really reach new highs and go in the discovery mode on this index here. When we look down on the bottom of this chart, we see the RSI. We see it has been declining. It had made higher highs here in the early 2024. It made another high in December of 2024. But generally speaking, we see the divergence here on the upper side. We see it growing. Down here, we see it's getting lower, and that usually means there is weakness in the market. However, when this breaks is when the strength comes back. So that means when we really break through here, we'll be on the same time scale when we break the highs here. So we will see also the RSI break out and probably reach levels like here. If you're really able to reach the 90s here, like in the early 21, this would be the major altcoin season that I am speaking about. So we are very far from that yet, and we have such a long and parabolic time for all the altcoins. But let me take you to this signal that I have been promoting here in my thumbnail, where you will really see that this is the major altcoin season that we will kick off. And to see that, we will look into the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance has made a strong setback. I also showed that in Die Kryptologen. If you are a German viewer, you might know my podcast that I'm doing together with my friend. And we see here that it's about 8% that it declined from the top. So there is a big downfall like we haven't seen it yet in this season yet. So in this whole cycle of cryptocurrencies since Bitcoin started to grow again in the end of 2022, we did not see a decline like this on dominance. And I already marked the signal down here. It looks very weird because it's somewhere in the nowhere right now, but I will show you in a moment what it really means. So you would say that this downfall here is similar, but I tell you it's not. We are still above this line here and we are holding up again here and we struggle to fall down, but I say the next move will be downwards from here. I doubt that we go to a new high in Bitcoin dominance. It's certainly not impossible. I want to say at this point, it's not impossible, but it won't happen. I think it won't happen. So the juiciest returns of this bull market that you are waiting for are just ahead of us because we will see a huge collapse. And this collapse that we saw in 21 will be kindergarten against it. It will be very, very small. This collapse could be much more violent. And chances are we can see new lows here again, like in 2018. Last time it looked like that the dominance is actually not going lower than this ever. You see this formation here. However, you also see that we broke it to the upside. So this line was kind of invalidated. We could take it out. And the lower line is still valid. So we will have a big struggle for altcoins here around this 40 level. This is almost sure, almost certain that this is where we will move over the next months. And then it will be decisive. Will Bitcoin have such a strong global standing that it might cover so much of the market and that the season will go up again and we move towards Bitcoin? Or we see the other direction and we go even lower? And I would say there is an indicator, this is marked here, this indicator that shows us that actually it's likely that we see this altcoin season be so violent that it goes even lower. But now switch to the daily chart because this is where we really clearly see this movement. You see, this is the signal and it went all the way down to 10, which has not happened in the 2021 bull market a single time. So since we are on the daily chart now, that means we are really tracking this from the short-term movement. This downfall of Bitcoin dominance has been extremely volatile. It really went down very, very quickly, and that we haven't seen in the whole season of 2021. You see, we went almost to 10 here, but not all the way. It took us also a longer time period, which is why we stick down there and we just moved down like this. But let's look to 2017. We had in total 2 instances where this chart went all the way down below 10. One of them was in March of 2017 and the other was in July of 16. And when we look at the chart, what happened there, let's check July 16 first. This was the first ever major fall down. This was when Ethereum started to gain traction. Before that time, we only had Litecoin, Dogecoin. We had a few currencies took some market share from Bitcoin. You see, in total until here, they took in total like 2% maybe of the whole cryptocurrency market cap. And this was when the first major signal came that altcoins could be more than just some monopoly money that was programmed. So in total, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Ethereum and all these currencies that existed back then, which were not a lot, they managed to gather altogether about 5% of the whole market. And that went so fast that we reached this low level. The second instance we know of was the one in March of 17. And this is where we really kicked off this major altcoin season that defined the term altcoin season for the future. It was the time when Bitcoin Cash launched. It was the time when Ethereum got massive traction and when the ICO hype began. And all of you who started like me in 2017, you remember that this was the golden age of ICOs. And suddenly we had so many coins. We all know that Nowadays, creating a coin is much easier. Back then, it wasn't exactly as these days. So in total, there were much less coins. Obviously, this time won't be like here because there isn't so much time left. We see it from March of 17 all the way to the beginning of 18 run. I do not say this will be the long time that we see right now. I think it will be much more violent with a much stronger downwards fall than we saw back then. So I think the times back then were very uncertain. Many things were getting more and more volatile. This is also visible here in the ups and downs of this dominance. I think we will see a much cleaner downfall this time with hardly any huge corrections except anything serious is happening, like big countries buying a lot of Bitcoin or whatsoever. If this doesn't happen, we will see a very smooth downfall, probably below this yellow line here. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, what the target of this altcoin season is. Do you really think it will go below 40? Will it even reach this level here of 35 or go to 25 maybe? I remember we discussed last time that we could go to a new low of probably 25 because back then in 21 we said that the altcoins should cover more and more market cap from Bitcoin. It didn't happen that way, and Bitcoin maxis were correct for the time being because they predicted that Bitcoin will be the strong and dominant coin for the next future. But what we saw now with this signal is very strong. And if we look on the weekly again, we see that there is still so much room for the RSI to go down. We can fall very, very low before this season is over. Look at that. Here, for instance, in 2021, we reached a level of 15. And in 2017, at this most violent times, we even reached 10, almost 10 on this weekly chart. So there is a strong potential to fall. And even more so on the monthly, because there you really see we are just at the level of 60. There is so much room to fall. We should fall at least to 30, I think, before this altcoin season will be over. So there is strong room to grow. And there is just one little caveat to it. But this is the story for another video. And if you don't want to miss this, I'm already preparing the video. Then you should subscribe to my channel now because I will show you why this altcoin season is very different to the ones that we saw before. And as I said in this video, I believe there will be an insane altcoin season, but the chances that exactly your altcoin will pump is much lower than it was in the history. And in this video that I'm preparing, I will show you why. If you do not want to miss out on this upcoming episode, subscribe to my channel right now. And until then, I wish you all the best, your Alex.